Good to go.
All right, what's going on, everyone? So, hey, it's Ryan, joined with my partner Ian, and today we got a special guest, Kenneth, joining us to give us some perspective about his company and what he's doing in the local markets. And so Kenneth, welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, listen, good afternoon to you guys here. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ian, for inviting me on your show here. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show and tell you guys a little bit about myself and my business and what I do. So, I spent the last 15 years working in various banks. I spent some time at JP Morgan Chase all the way to PNC Bank. And it wasn't until maybe 5 years ago that I decided to become a real estate investor, right? With that wealth of experience in banking and lending, I decided to become a real estate investor. Like everybody else, I wanted to get a little bit of, I wanted to earn a little bit more money, right? So I started off wholesaling properties, right? So when I left corporate America working in banking, on my first deal that I did, for the next 6 months, I actually made more money than I was working in corporate America. So I realized that, okay, it's phenomenal for me to be in the real estate business. So I wholesaled, on my first year, I wholesaled about 10 properties, and I did my first flip and my first fix and flip project also. So it went phenomenal. And ever since then, I started doing the business. Up until now, I have fixed and flipped about 25 properties. I have wholesaled close to 40 properties.
Over 5 years?
Yes, over the 5 years. Yes, over the last 3 years. I would say over the last 3 years, because the first 2 years was more like on a part-time basis, right? Yeah. So the last 3 years, that's what I have done. The way I work is very simple. I work in the Essex County market, right? The Essex County market, specifically East Orange and Newark, right? So like everybody else, I get to know the sellers. I get to know a lot of realtors, and I also get some off-market deals. That's pretty much how I do get a lot of my business, and that's how I work.
Got it. I mean, that's awesome. It's really impressive, by the way. Those are really, really good numbers for three years. I mean, 2 years part-time and three full-time. So, I mean, Newark and Essex, if you're in the Irvington, East Orange, Newark areas, those are not the easiest places to start. So, good on you for being able to make it work there. I mean, I get people looking for deals there all the time. I mean, what is it that you do that makes it work there? Is it just networking and whatnot, or what's your secret sauce, I guess?
Oh yeah, I won't say is anything special that I do. All I will say is that you got to understand the fundamentals of the business, right? Numbers don't lie, right? So it is critical that you stick to the numbers and the market that you're working with. So a couple of things that I like to really work with. One of the most important things I like to work with, to your point, yes, those markets are not the most easiest market, but in terms of the price point, you do have a market that is low to middle price market. You're talking about a rehab property, obviously a single family to a multi-family, will range anywhere from 200 to 350 in that market. So those market tends to have folks that are low to middle class folks in that area. And then the other positive economic catalyst that I like to also have going on in that area is more or less to make sure that there is public transportation, there is hospitals, there is those kind of things that everybody is still looking for. And believe it or not, over the last 3 years, we have seen a big migration of folks leaving New York, coming down to New Jersey, finding this market to less pricey for them, believe it, right? So, I cannot even tell you, some of the agents that I work with, how many folks they have actually moved from Brooklyn or Queens into the New Jersey market. So those criteria are very, very important to me. Obviously, in addition to making sure that any property that I do purchase, right, meets that criteria of the 65 to 70% ARV. And basically for the viewers, the 70% ARV, which is commonly known as, if you purchase a property the property, the after repair value of the property is 100,000. You want to make sure that the purchase price and the repair do not exceed 70% of that. So in other words, I will want to buy if the repairs is 20,000 on that scenario, I will want to buy the property at 50,000, and then the repairs will be 20,000. Obviously, you want to give yourself a little bit of a cushion in terms of the closing cost and the holding cost. So you want to make sure that you even have that 10% cushion in there, so that you could make a 20% profit. You know, again, it's not like a Bible, but that is the sort of the criteria that I like to really stick with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we follow the 65% rule as a lender.
Yes.
It's not just because, you know, that's our safety net. It's more, that's what it would take to make money on a property, right? So we're not just saying that just because. We're saying it because if you're properly flipping, those are the numbers you should be in at, because there's a lot of costs that you're not going to expect. So you need that proper number. So yeah, tell me about what you've seen over just the last 3 months. I mean, let's start with COVID. What happened to your markets? Has it gotten better, worse, same? What are you seeing?
So, you know, pre-COVID, I think that everybody had that vision of a 2020 going to be a phenomenal year.
Right.
With all the market, everything. There was all the telltale signs. The stock market was doing well. The fundamentals was just in place for an economy that all we're going to see is an upward trend, right? And then obviously when COVID happened, it halted everything. So, you know, I had a couple of deals that I was working with, and unfortunately those deals had to, you know, I lost some of those deals, and I am still sort of like resurrecting some of those deals, because obviously as a lender like you guys did change some of the guidelines. So, you know, if you had a deal that you were going in and the numbers were as tight as possible, you know, guess what? COVID sort of like destroyed that. So of my business, I have seen a gradual back of properties, and also people coming back in the market, and also some lenders are actually also gradually getting closer to what they used to do pre-COVID, right? So, you know, I am working on some deals right now. I just finished rehabbing 2 properties that we were working on. And when I say we, I have a team. I have partners that I do work with them on some of the projects that I do work on. So I have those properties on the market right now. So I think that we should be on a positive note. I think that, you know, a lot of folks on Wall Street like to say, are we going to have a U recovery or a V-shaped recovery, right? That is still waiting to be told, right? But I think that all the fundamentals are in place. Congress actually passed some stimulus that I think it helped folks with the $1,200 stimulus check and everything to pump stuff into the economy to really help. It's really unprecedented what the federal government did, right? When you have to think about it, like we have COVID, and then as soon as we had it, they stepped up and they just went ahead and passed the legislation to support Main Street, right? And so I think that we should be back to normal. Hopefully, we should see, a full recovery. Again, I'm not an economist or whatever, but I think that on this pace, we should have a good 2021. Obviously, if we have a vaccine that comes into play and it ease people's fear, we should have a good recovery going into 2021.
Got it. So are you, for the houses that are listed right now, are people reaching out to you, you know, interested in buying? So in that sense, you know, it's kind of like a knock on wood. Everything's on track to recover right now for you.
Yeah, I think everything is pretty much on track here. You know, I'm amazed, to be quite honest with you, with the agents that I speak to and even the house that I put on the market, it did not. I had an offer with one of the properties even before I was getting ready to put on the market, right? So, you know, there seemed to be this dichotomy whereby, you know, we have the sentiment of the COVID still happening, it's still around us, right? And then you still have people who really are looking to buy. And
right.
On the conventional side of the business, interest rates is still at a phenomenal low, right? So it's really sort of like a different story when I see people actively in the market and still actually, you know, sometimes even giving a little bit above accent on some of those properties. So, knock on wood, as we like to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's, the pulse. We like to do these interviews and get the pulse, basically around our local area, but also around the country. And it seems to be, what you're saying of, honestly, I'm getting above asking right now. So it's good. It's good to hear that that's happening in your areas as well. As from the lender's perspective, we really only see the investment side of things, not necessarily what's going on, from the retail. So it's good to hear that when you're putting those up, you're getting your buyers and whatnot. So I mean, has anything changed from your team's perspective, or is everybody still going? Have you lost anyone? What's going on with your team?
No, I haven't lost anyone. Obviously, on the construction side, the guys got a little bit slow on that because we typically handle about 3 to 5 projects each month. I have a group of investors that I do work with, right? So I have a group of about 3 to 5 investors that I work with, in the sense that we all put up the equity and we go into a project and we work on it. And so we have a team of construction workers that we typically have a job for them almost every month, right? So there was a little bit of a slowdown, obviously, around the March to April, but I haven't lost anyone. Everybody is still back to work, and because of some of those projects that we had going on, we still right back at working on it. Yeah,
it makes sense. I mean, that contractors probably got hit, amongst the hardest here. I would say realtors, because just the volume has decreased, but also contractors, just in the sense of the amount of jobs. But that seems to be picking up right now. So, I mean, that's all good stuff. So where do you see this going? You kind of already said you're thinking we're going to be seeing a good 2021. I mean, is that anything else I guess you want to add on that? Like, it just, everything seems okay. That's kind of the moral of the story, which is good. It's great. It's great news to hear that.
You're right. Listen, obviously, and I know you talked about, the protesting and everything like that. Obviously, we hope we can have a legislation to address that and some of the issues that are pertaining to that. And also we have the elections coming up. So, there is going to be that sort of like, what do you call it? We're going to have a zigzag, right? We're going to have days that obviously, I also happen to follow the stock market closely. I do some trading here and there. So, we still have a story that is like, here we have all these things going on, and the stock market feels like it's immune from that, right?
Right.
Because some days we see a big rally, and some days we see the Dow down and stuff like that. So I think, listen, I definitely don't want to be in the prediction game, to be quite honest with you, because I think I will be wrong. We just got to keep our head up, and we just got to hope for the best.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're the same way. I mean, we're cautiously optimistic right now, right? But there's just too many unknowns right now to be able to say, like, yeah, we're going to recover or we're not. So, I like that approach. I mean, are you doing anything different with your numbers? Are you, let's just say you found a property. Are you maybe down $10,000 in what you would offer, say, 3 months ago?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. And I'm glad that, I think that we should talk about how we found each other. I think that we just found each other, maybe, I think, through a contact of one of my agents who referred you to me, maybe about a couple of months ago. So if people are wondering why we're not doing business together, obviously we just met recently, and we kicked it off. Hopefully we can definitely do some business as we go forward here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Repeat your question one more time, as I digress a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, did anything change in terms of, like, when you're talking to a seller? Have you been offering any less, or have your numbers stayed the same? What were your adjustments as an investor?
Oh no, absolutely. My numbers is really adjusted. So I am on the deals that I'm trying to wholesale. I am really trying to come in at maybe 55 to 60, because obviously you as the lenders are coming about 65. So, want to make sure that you leave some meat on the bone for the other investor that is coming in. If I am buying and rehabbing also, I am trying to negotiate to really, really come in at about 60, 65 also. right? So, so to answer your question, if I was offering 70,000 pre-COVID, now I am offering 60 or 55,000 post-COVID, just to sort of like, because again, you do not know what the outlook is going to look 6 months from now or a year from now. So I want to make sure that I factor that in as part of the risk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear you say it, because we get some people who kind of fight us on that, and they say, no, everything's good, your numbers should be aggressive again, and we're like, you don't know that yet. Wait for the comps to come in, that kind of thing. So I think that's smart. If you're an investor across the board, everybody should be down a little bit in the investment world until we are, basically you said through election. I think we got to get through elections before we get any sort of confidence there. But yeah, so I mean, any tips on how those conversations go? Like, what are you saying to your buyers, or your sellers rather? You're the buyer. What are you saying to them during that conversation?
Oh no, absolutely. So what I am telling those sellers is obviously is to really educate them on what the market is looking like, right? Because I think that sometimes people are not aware of what is happening behind the scenes, or what folks like yourself, lenders, are actually doing. So I educate them on what the market is, where the market is headed, and what lenders are looking like. I think that is key, right? Because without that, if we don't have that data, and we cannot just wave a magic wand and say, hey, you selling this property for this amount, and I'm just going to offer you that. So I'm really educating them on that, and also really letting them be rest assured that if I do put the house under contract and we go under contract, I'm going to see to it that we close on that property, and there is no glitches, or there is anything. Obviously, there is nothing guaranteed, but to make sure that the reason why I'm offering you this price, it's not just to come in and say, hey, listen, I'm going to close on this loan and tell you all the things you want to hear, but it's that is realistic enough, and I can also hold my end of the bargain. So I think that is also key. And then also factoring in how big of a repairs the property need and stuff like that, because to your point, you want to make sure that you have enough cushion in there. When sometimes when you open up a wall, you begin to find things that was really unexpected, and sometimes you might not have even budgeted for. So those experiences are very very key when I'm dealing with sellers, and how you negotiate with them.
Got it. No, that's really good tips there. So question on what you were just saying there, has your contractor prices changed at all because of this?
My contractor price, the contractors I work with, obviously I have worked with them for a while, so I haven't seen a big change in it. More or less, obviously people want to make a little bit more money on every deal. So just like every other business, we've seen an uptick in the cost of buying materials and stuff like that. So there has been a slight increase in that, even though I was getting the wholesale price from them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, like, how, I know the Home Depot lines are ridiculous, but I also didn't know, since their jobs are slower, are they giving you lower pricing? But it sounds like you kind of have a business relation that's a little bit different than just hiring somebody, first time. So
absolutely, and that's one of the things that I want to leave folks who are listening to this and even thinking about wanting to join, wanting to where you could get into the business of fixing and flipping, or even buying and hold, right? So, for example, one of the key things I tell folks who are getting into is that if you got to know the area or the neighborhood that you want to invest in inside out. You want to make sure that you do the numbers right? Meaning that you understand the numbers, meaning that you do not pay it, because sometimes the key for investors to basically losing their share or basically not making any profit is that they wind up not knowing the numbers. They buy the property at the wrong price. And to me personally, if you do that, you're already starting off at the wrong place anyway. The next thing is also basically being able to partner up with a contractor or another investor, because what happens is that you mitigate your risk, right? If you do go on ahead and do that, right? And then the last thing is also to make sure that you learn the process of rehabbing. Don't just leave it to the contractor to rehab it. Just make sure that you know it inside out.
I wish I could send a bunch of my leads to you, because that everything you just said is, they always ask us, what advice do you have? I mean, you just hit it on all. You got to get your numbers right. You got to know your market. And then, if it's your first time flipping, go partner up with somebody. Don't try to do it on your own, right? So I mean, you just hit so many key things there. So Kenneth, what is it that you do? Like, so if somebody wanted to reach out to you, would they want to join your team? Like, how would you want to advertise to the public here? Like, what would you offer here?
So, as an investor, I like to provide hands-on experience, right? Obviously, if you go to Instagram or whatever, there is a lot of gurus, so-called gurus about doing this business. One of the things that I like to really pride myself is that the proof is in the pudding, right? You can see the work that I'm doing, right? And one of the things that as I go forward, I want to offer folks is to be able to offer my network and my experience in doing this project in here, right? To be able to guide them in the acquisition of the property, in leveraging the network I have, which is you guys and other folks that I do have, to be able to help them navigate the process, which sometimes a lot of folks on the outside might think that, oh, it's easy. I could just go in and do the fix and flipping. And some of the key things to really look for. So yes, I do have an Instagram page, Ken the Investor. You could check it out. I provide content every day. I provide raw life experience as to the projects that I am currently working on. So if you do reach out to me, I'll be more than happy to help guide you in the process, and more importantly, help you leverage the network of the folks that I have worked with, because those folks have already been vetted, right? You guys are already been vetted. You guys are in the business. You guys help investors, so you know what to look for, and you guys are also local, right? Which is also key, right? One of the things that I always tell folks is that you got to work with folks who knows the market, right? So I will be more than happy to help folks navigate this process. That you want to make sure that you do it and you make a decent profit and not lose money.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and you can answer honestly, because otherwise you're going to get a slew of phone calls you don't want. Do you work with new investors? Meaning, if somebody wants to partner up with you, would you work with them?
Absolutely, I will.
Okay, because I definitely have people I can send your way. So Kenneth, what's give us a name or an email and a number for people to reach you at.
Oh, absolutely. So my email address is info at tristatepropertydevelopers.com. Let me repeat that one more time. The email is info at tristate, TRISTATE, property, PROPERTY, developers, DEVELOPERS.com.
And we'll put it in the video as well. And then, do you have a number, or is email good?
Oh, no, absolutely. I do have a number. They could reach me at 917-463-7667. And this is my cell here. You could call me directly. I'm an open book. I like to be transparent and honest in business.
Awesome. Love it, Ken. Well, I appreciate your time. Ian, you're probably doing some stock market stuff, but do you have anything, Ian, or are you good?
No, it's good. Yeah, I'm very familiar with, it's always good. I always say people that wholesale in general are very good for the business. I started there 12 years ago, and it's also not a place that you have to necessarily evolve out of. It's one skill set that you always keep. I know guys that wholesale make a whole lot more money than me. So it's not, a lot of people have this idea that wholesaling is one of these things that newbies do only, but in reality, it is, you can make a whole lot of money wholesaling. So if you're good at it, you know what you're doing, know how to find a deal, and then you can flip or do whatever you need to do from there. But no, it all makes a lot of sense. Oh, Ernest says, I need that burgundy shirt. Man, this is a one of a kind. I have no idea where I got this, man. It was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. If you get close enough to this thing, it's got like holes in it. So, but if we do make a burgundy shirt, Ernest, and Ernest is a really good realtor in our Philadelphia area, I will be able to send it to you.
So Chuck, Ernest, if you're still watching, shoot me your t-shirt size and address to my email here, ryan@martymegos.com. I'll send you a t-shirt. Kenneth, you as well for being on the show. Give me your t-shirt size and address, and you'll get one of these. So the blue, probably a blue one, not the burgundy, unfortunately.
No. Listen, it's absolutely a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show and share the platform with you guys on my experience and to chat a little bit about where we see the market going. I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.